we call this one? We call the other one before floor. I don't know what we call this one in the middle of the game. More floor? I don't know.
More floor.
This is the halftime show coming on just a little bit before halftime. Excuse the mess in my vehicle. That's my daughter's. I didn't realize that would be caught there in the background. I'm here, Ethan Skolnick, Greg Sylvander, Alfredo Arteaga, Alex Toledo. Others might be joining us. The Heat are in a tight game. They've been behind for most of the first half, but within striking distance. Let's get to some of what's been good with some
Where
of
did
what's
Leif
been
go?
bad. I know we can't. Leif's starting at the top.
Oh, with that. Okay, never mind. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I know that we can't really do the play-by-play here, but we can get into some of the things that have happened. I mean, to me, the primary takeaway, first thing, this would be a great series, just a great series if they play this team. The teams are so evenly matched. But the number one thing I think that struck me today has been Toronto's defensive strategy, which I think is something that's going to be copied by a lot of other teams, which is we will not allow Duncan Robinson to beat us. We'll allow anybody else to be passed into a three, and you can shoot him, Kelly, you can shoot him, Jay, you can shoot him, Andre, but Duncan Robinson is not shooting them. Did the Heat just basically take that as a strategy? Okay, and we're gonna play a different way today because he's just not gonna be an option for us.
No,
I mean, go ahead, Leif.
Well, I feel like this is like halftime is upon us. Duncan Robinson's walking into the locker room right now. This is a huge moment, like to make a big time adjustment, because I think that there's a couple things here. One, Duncan Robinson, we know how much he unlocks for all of the players, but also like this is basically on national TV broadcasting the blueprint on Duncan Robinson. So you have to make an adjustment here. I think that ultimately, for all of what we've seen offensively that we don't like, for Miami to be shooting 21.7%, 5 of 23 from three, and Toronto's at almost 43%, 9 of 21. Ultimately, I feel like some of that's going to even out. So I mean, being down 4, I feel pretty good about that. But the Duncan Robinson thing, because of the implications going forward, it's concerning.
And look, I want to get to a comment that came in because we're going to talk about the good and we're going to talk about the bad. The player who struggled probably the most in that first half, we've told you
a question.
It was Kendrick Nunn. It's on his 25th birthday, and it's not just offensively. He was 2 of 18 in the 2 games. I mean, he really struggled against Toronto in the 2 games. But it's also, as everybody mentions, he's going under the screen every single time.
On Van Fleet.
Van Vliet, which is just, you cannot do that.
Did you see a couple times too where like he switched onto Siakam purposefully?
Mm-hmm.
It was like I kept seeing him go under the screens. That was pissing me off by itself. But then him switching onto Siakam, I'm like, what are you doing here? That's it. That's it. Just end the possession at that point.
He's not only going under the screen. He's going under the screen by like 2 or 3 feet past the screener, and then creating so much of a cushion where Van Fleet is putting a ton of pressure on the Heat's defense and making Bam move a lot.
Yeah.
And on the good side, I would say Tyler Hero and Dragic have a good look about themselves, especially Tyler Hero. All his ball fakes are getting the Toronto Raptors to move and scramble their defense a bit, and he's initiated some offense off of those feints and those ball fakes. So he's been good. Nunn's been terrible.
He's been good, but we mentioned Goran. To me, this is the best Goran's looked in the bubble, and it was from the very beginning. And not first thing, he has sort of a purpose about taking control of the second unit today, which I has been missing a little bit, where he's been ducking to the corner, reminded me of the old Dwayne days. But he's been much more aggressive. But also, he and Kelly have defended today.
Yes.
Both of them have.
That's crazy
right?
you said that. I was literally just saying that to Leif, how impressed I was with Goran and Kelly's defense. They're just smart defenders. I mean, they can. Their IQ is there. It's just the physical parts that are kind of really hurting them.
Yeah, I guess this becomes a question when you're playing a 9-man rotation, and that's the other thing today. No Leonard, no DJJ. I thought DJJ would come back in for Jay because Jay was playing with the 4 reserves. He did not come back in with DJJ. He stayed with 9, which is also interesting going forward. And he played Iguodala a lot. Iggy had some moments. I also feel like there's going to be a lot of frustration from Heat fans because a lot of possessions are going to end with the ball in Iguodala's hands, either in the post or from 3 open, and it's not going to end up in a good result. And I think we've seen some of that today. But A couple of other things I want to get to. Jimmy Butler took a jumper, right? Deceptive
Kelly's
slowness.
deceptive slowness is
But
really good.
Jimmy was hyper aggressive early in the game, and then not as much as it went forward. He had that great strip steal in transition, and he finished it with a layup. I want to see Jimmy in the post more and Iggy in the post less. Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah,
not at all. I feel like
No.
in the first 5 minutes, I tweeted out Jimmy's going for 30 because he had that look of this is it. Like I am taking over, and he had some of that versus Denver too. And then just to kind of see the team shift away from it for a number of reasons. I think that when the 3-point shooting isn't going, it kind of not rattles, but it definitely makes everyone flinch a little bit on what the game plan is and where to go. And I think even to that point, there were moments where Jimmy and Goran were on the court together, and Goran was still kind of taking charge because they were trying to find something. And I don't know, man. I still think Jimmy has it in him to pull together a big scoring night, but we need to see more of him in the post because he can take advantage there, and less Iggy on offense overall.
Yes. Greg, we have to answer this important question. Did you change shirts at halftime?
I did change shirts at halftime, so I'm notorious for spilling stuff on my shirts. It's like an ongoing joke. So I switched to the Bam Giannis shirt. Maybe it'll be, good luck for our 3-point
I
shooting.
thought you were going to say it was a superstitious thing.
Nah. I wish I could say that.
Group economics is missing threes, is clanking threes. That came in on the feed also. All right, second half. The Heat don't shoot well, but they're still in this thing. They've done a really good job on Gasol, as has been mentioned. Lowry hasn't gotten off against them. Offensively, though, do you want to see Goran? I feel like this is a game Goran's going to close, and I also feel like Hero could get some of those minutes too. I think it's got to be a short stint for Kendrick. I just don't. Certain nights, it's just he just doesn't have it.
I mean, he's going to start now. I hope he gets some I would love to see him just hit one of those shots that we've seen him hit a million times this season. I think that would be great for his confidence. It really does. Just like watching him, it's just like, wow, over and over again, missing these wide open looks. There's something about it. It's like, I think he just needs to see one go in. And then you could even say the same for Duncan. I mean, they've just done such an amazing job. Like, I mean, they've left Kendrick Nunn wide open, but Duncan hasn't even been able to get a shot up. Like, has he got an A shot up at this point?
He got one up early. He ball faked and stepped back. Like we talked about, Crowder took that 27-footer early. Kelly, I do feel like this is the thing with Eric. He's decided I want guys shooting up to 27, 28 feet to give space. But it does – look, I understand the analytics of it. I get it. You're going for threes, particularly if you can get open threes. But a lot of these sequences, I feel like they're overpassing. They're passing up. It's not necessarily good shots. They're passing up opportunities to drive. There were a couple of situations I thought Jimmy had a defender on the heels, but he's making the extra pass instead. And I'd like to see him at times, or him or Bam, the two guys who can, put the ball on the deck.
Yep.
Okay, and try to draw some fouls, or at least make the defense collapse. Because I think and switch, and because I just don't think that's happening. The other guy who I think can do that a little bit more is Kendrick. Like he has that intermediate mid-range game, but it's
the speed.
The speed, but he's not doing it.
He doesn't look confident at all right now.
No.
The Heat bench in the first half, 22 points, 11 rebounds. That's just the counting stats. Like if they're performing like that, if Nunn and Duncan Robinson, and for different reasons though, I could see both of those guys. You go away from them in the second half because Duncan, for the purpose of just like getting this whole issue off the floor, where they're just kind of crowding him and figuring out if you can kind of open things up in other ways with maybe Hero or Kelly Olynyk picking up the slack. None, because if he's not going to give you scoring, going to the rim and being really aggressive, getting even to the line a little bit more, just anything to spark something, you just got to go away from him in a 4-point game. But ultimately, I'm going to go back to it. It's the 3-point shooting. They're 20% from three. All they got to do is fix that. And this game it's flipped in terms of who's up, and probably even by more.
Well, one of the
if this were game 2 of the Eastern semifinals, then I would fall back to some old reliables like Goran Dragic subbing in for Hero and for Duncan down the stretch. But I think that they should take this opportunity, since it's game 2 of the bubble, to try to unlock Duncan Robinson because they can't allow this to go forward because it's just going to become, it's going to get into the everybody else playbook that all you got to do is just crowd them and blitz the handoffs, and then all of a sudden Duncan is essentially useless. So they got to try to unlock him in the second half, and I think Spo should use this third quarter to try to unlock Duncan Robinson, at least get some shots up.
But Alfredo, he did in the last game against the Denver game. He kind of unlocked himself. I think that is what they're waiting to see here is Duncan making the adjustments. I don't think I've seen a team be quite as aggressive all season as Toronto has been in this case. And it's interesting.
Their personnel on defense is just too much, man.
They have too many guys that they can throw at you. But the other thing, and they're smart. But the other thing about it is I'm a little surprised that Nick Nurse is doing it now because Toronto really doesn't have anything to play for. They are locked into the 2. They're going to draw Orlando, which just lost Jonathan Isaac. They are pretty much – there's really nothing to gain for them. And they may see the Heat down the road. So I am a little surprised that they're telegraphing this early unless Nick Nurse just wants to prove he should have been the coach of the year from the other coaches. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe Nick Nurse wants to get it in their head that, hey, you're 0-2 against this team. Now let's go smash them today. So, we could put it in their heads that it's a new Toronto team that you're going to face.
By the way, that's Christian Hernandez, who is reporting live from the bubble because I believe there is a digital facsimile of Christian Hernandez. Has anybody seen it?
Yeah, he's a virtual fan. He's center court, and he's been raising the roof and doing all kinds of other stuff. So he's been having a lot of fun. It's fun to watch that.
Well, Christian, I couldn't get in today. So Alf is asking us if we're still on. We are still on. I couldn't get in today, so if you could get me a hot dog, I'd appreciate it. I should be in there tomorrow. All right, give me 2 keys to the second half because we're about to start it. 2 keys, Alex.
Honestly, I want to see more out of Bam. I feel like we haven't really talked about that yet, but somebody mentioned in the comments, and I was saying it before, that he's had OG kind of switched on him a few times. He's got to take him to the basket. As good of a defender as OG is, and the guy is not small either. He's probably maybe an inch smaller than Bam. Bam definitely has the weight advantage there. He's got to take advantage of that. Bam is, 1B to Jimmy's 1A. I think he's got to do a little bit more. I liked how he's looked. I just want him to be a little bit more aggressive offensively. The thing with Jimmy is he's only going to try to score when he gets a Van Vliet or a Lowry on him. Other than that, they've been throwing OG and others that are just bigger, and it's going to be tough for Jimmy to get a shot off against those guys. And other than that, I think we expect to see Spo throw in an extra little action into the Duncan stuff to get him open. Somebody pointed out one from last game where they had Kelly roll to the rim as Bam was setting the screen for the handoff for Duncan. It was at the same time, so you basically make the defense make 3 different decisions at a time. I think we're going to see more stuff like that thrown in. Maybe not that exact thing, but they need to get Duncan some looks for sure.
Lowry 3 fouls been pointed out here a couple times too. So
the commenters have been awesome today, by the way.
The commenters have been great, and we're going to do more and more of this. I think we're going to do more throughout the game. Today we're experimenting a little, and we're kind of saving some stuff for a post-game pod. But we definitely do that. The question comes in, do you think Myers can get back in the rotation? I think it's situational. I think the fact you didn't see DJJ today so far leads you to believe Eric is going to try to go to 9. That has always been Eric's comfort zone. You look at the big 3 Heat, it was always 9. I think that's probably whereas and not getting enough lift on the shots. That's probably true too. All right.
Hold on. One last thing. Derrick Jones Jr. is a -5 in 16 seconds of playing time.
Oh my gosh.
How is that possible?
No, but a couple things to look out for in the second half. I would be remiss if I didn't mention they have 5 free throw attempts. This team needs to shoot more free throws. That cannot be ignored. We need to really watch that.
But that's what we talked about, Greg. That's what I'm saying. At some of these times, they're passing out of driving situations, not just passing up open shots, passing out of driving situations to try to get themselves a 25-foot 3. And they're not going to get to the line that way, okay? It's not going to happen. And that's why I do think that Jimmy needs to set up at more times in the post, put the shoulder down. He can get to the back. The officials are calling stuff tight the entire bubble time. He needs to do that more, and Bam needs to do it more. Alf, thoughts? I'm out. I got to go watch this thing.
Is it back on? Honestly, I thought with as bad as they shot, it should be a lot worse than it is. So I'm actually kind of encouraged because they got so many open looks and they just didn't fall down. And that's not going to happen for 4 quarters, not with this team. But beyond that, I actually the fact that they put bigger guys on Lowry, like that's exciting to see. Like I'm glad Jimmy Butler took that up. I mean, Iggy came in, went right on Lowry. Like that's those are things that we've been talking about a lot. I think that's what Jay Crowder being in the starting lineup allows you to do. Allows you to do a lot of different things. I mean, they put Crowder on Siakam, and so Bam is on Gasol, and Bam is not expending that much energy on that end. We haven't seen a lot from Bam offensively, but he's been able to do a lot of things on defense that have actually helped him out and kind of led to what the score is. So now we're seeing through 2 straight games, the Heat's defense looks good. I mean, we can say that much, right? The first half.
It's only been one guy who hasn't been playing great defense today. I don't mean to harp on him so much, but it's just really been Kendrick Nunn. Outside of that, Kendrick Nunn's been rough.
I think as far as their scouting report for today, man, if they could keep the disposition on Lowry and Gasol and just cut Siakam loose, I think that's good enough if their offense comes around to get a win today.
Yeah, and the other thing
I think they have to just hit a few more shots, and like Ethan said, get to the line a few more times, and then the offense is going to be. I mean, the offense doesn't have to be great if the defense just maintains this. And we've been begging them to be better defensively for how long? We have to give them the credit where the credit's due. But at the same time, if they continue at this pace, of course, they're going to lose.
Remember, Denver, first half, they shot 30%. By the end of the game, they were almost at 46%. So we've seen precedent that they can turn that around. And with Duncan Robinson, don't be surprised if it's not a 3-pointer that gets him going. It's a rhythm type bucket, maybe a little cut to the basket. Even free throws would be the kind of thing that could kind of get him going. So that's something to watch too. And the second half is starting. So I think that are we at a point where we'll sign off?
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys after the game.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Peace.